This video is to walk you through the instructions of the Lost Colony assignment. You have an extended deadline, so we need to make sure that the expectations are laid out very clearly for you. And the best way to do that is to just walk you through where all the resources and directions are. We're going to start from the home page of my Canvas. I'm going to head straight to assignments. And then let me show you what you're looking at. What you'll see is this Lost Colony assignment and upcoming. You're going to click on that. Colonization Lost Colony 1-1 is going to be all of your background information. Not all of your background information, but this document is your rough overview of what happened at the Lost Colony. The basic gist of the assignment is that you're going to examine other people's theories about what happened to the colonists at Roanoke, because their governor, John White, he left to get supplies to come back to Roanoke, but was delayed in his return journey by the Anglo-Spanish War. He couldn't make it back until 1590. When he finally does make it back, the colonists and the colony itself have disappeared. And you have to figure out why that happened. So here's like your basic, a couple primary sources basically. Some primary accounts from some pretty important figures. Amadas and Barlow were ship captains who were sent on behalf of Sir Walter Raleigh to survey the land when Sir Walter Raleigh first got the charter to settle Roanoke. Then attempt number 2, these are primary sources that cover that second attempt, that John White attempt at settling the area. We go back, we hit this, Lost Colony 2-1, and here are the instructions for the assignment. Part 1, produce a map showing where in the U.S. Roanoke Island is located. Produce a second map where North Carolina is located, as in a North Carolina map. All that means is I want you to make a map of the United States, and then tell me on that map where North Carolina is, and then make a map of North Carolina, and tell me where Roanoke is on that map. I want you to be updating your maps as you go along, as your argument evolves, as you get more evidence, as more important locations, more relevant locations make themselves apparent to you, and then also any geographical features that play any important role in your argument. I would like to see those represented on the map as well. Part 2, the mystery. And make sure that we're answering these 6 bullet point questions, and we're answering them fully, that we're reading the entire question, especially those questions that have multiple parts, like this 5th one, and then we're answering the whole question. One more thing about part 1, give 3 or more examples of interactions between the natives and colonists. I only need 2. I only need 2 examples of interactions. Part 2, the mystery, answer these questions about the mystery of what happened to the colony. Again, answer these 4 bullet point questions, but then do some research, find at least 3 different theories about what may have happened to the colony. For each theory, you'll need the following items. Really quick, before we go over that table, I only need 2 theories. Not 3 theories, 2 theories. You're going to make one of these tables, one of these 6-box tables, for 2 different theories. You don't have to make the tables. It doesn't have to be laid out this way. You can just answer the questions. Just make sure that it's easy for me to recognize what I'm reading, what question that you're responding to, so that I can actually correctly grade your assignment. Cite your source and evaluate if it's credible. We went over that briefly in class, but the main things that you're looking for to see if a source is credible is to get an impression of the site in general and the ownership of the site. I would go to whatever the resources about page is and try to see if they have any journalistic statements of integrity or anything of that nature. But then the second thing that you are absolutely going to do is always investigate the specific author. If there's information about the author out there, I need you to find that information and to see whether or not they are a credible source for the subject matter that you're talking about. Normally, a source requires the author to have some pretty serious credentials. They either have to be someone who works as some kind of professor in that field at a university, or some kind of well-established professional in the field. So what's the person's rationale for their theory? That's just the base, like the theory's basic structure, its basic argument. Like the author identified this piece of evidence, and they made this argument about how that evidence works into their theory, so this is the theory, right? What is a theory? Obviously, identify it. Who's making the theory? The author. Are they qualified to make a valid theory? Is there any evidence to support their theory? This is really important because then we go into part 3, the evidence table, right? And then, do you think the theory is reasonable? So part 3, evidence. The part 3 instructions give a lot of good resources to find evidence, but they don't really explain what's required of the chart. What I'm looking for the chart is to just identify your piece of evidence and then explain how it works into any of the theories. It could be any of the theories for part 2, it could be your theory for part 4, but regardless, I just need to see 4 to 5 pieces of evidence. So just identify the evidence, say like ceramic shards, right? And then just explain how that piece of evidence works into your theory. Like ceramic shards found 50 miles inland indicate that colonists moved to this more like interior location rather than going to Cape Hatteras, right? Going to the Croatoan Indians, right? Part 4 analysis, you're either going to write an essay or make a PowerPoint. Your essay and or PowerPoint is going to fully respond to all 7 of these prompts. And again, when we see that these prompts have multiple points, make sure that we are addressing the whole question. You'll see on the rubric that, let's go to the rubric really quick. Pretty much all these categories, pretty much all of the parts, the way that you get all of the points is making sure that we're being complete, right? I will take your attempts for accuracy with a grain of salt. I will be making sure that you know things that you missed information-wise when I grade your assignment. But what I'm really looking for is just fullness and completeness for accurately completing the 6 boxes and accurately completes all 7 tasks. You'll see on the rubric that there's also citations. Make sure that we're making any kind of citations. I don't care if they're MLA format, Chicago format, whatever, but we need to be citing our work. Let's see. Bonus, 2 points plus 1 assignment. All that means is if you do the bonus fully, that you'll get a full homework grade and 2 extra points on the assignment. The assignments have 18 points total. If you do the bonus, you'll get 2 points on the assignment as well. And then you, instead of doing it for a homework grade, you could also get 2 extra points on a quiz. I want to go back to 2-1 really quick. To explain something about the Part 4 analysis. Your essay and or PowerPoint / Google slide can't just be answering all of these prompts just in this order, just like just a laundry list of information of answers, right? You're making an argument for what happened to the colonists, and that argument has to be structured in such a way that you are actually making that argument, if that makes sense. All that means is if you're doing a multi-paragraph essay, instead of just slapping the information in this order, give me an introduction. Give me some background on what was going on at Roanoke, why they were selling Roanoke in the first place, or a couple of examples of events that are important to Roanoke but maybe don't set the stage for your argument specifically, and then hit me with that thesis statement, right? Hit me with that like your personal theory of the lost colony. And then after that, everything in your body paragraphs, everything in your conclusion should tie back into that central argument. I would organize the body paragraphs around my evidence personally. Each one of my body paragraphs would be dedicated to a specific piece of evidence. And then your Google slide / PowerPoint, just keep that in mind, that having things just slapped in there in this order may not be the best way to form your argument, but the PowerPoint expectations for your format, for your structure of it, won't be so strict. That's all the time I got for now. Thank you for watching, and I hope that I see you in class soon, and that we're enjoying social studies. Woo!